Hey guys, I just want to talk to you guys a minute about this CMS module. This is the main gauge cluster on a 1997 Caterpillar IT38F. Now, this thing had an issue where originally, about 6 months ago, both of the gauges on the side that run one gauge is for attack, the other one runs 4 different things for fuel and water temp and some other things. Those died, but the main gauge still worked. And then fast forward to like a couple weeks ago, the gauge cluster died out, and literally like the next day or a day after, the alternator stopped charging. So came in with dead batteries. Now, it was kind of a coincidence. We thought, well, the alternator could be bad. Checked out the electrical measurements on the alternator, and we weren't too sure. We had really no repair manual information to go off of, but we had voltage on all our wires, grounds, powers, everything seemed to be good. However, we ended up tracing it back to this cluster, and the charging circuit actually goes through this cluster, and this cluster decides how much the alternator is to charge, and I believe that's how it is supposed to be anyways. So what happened is, you can see here, looks like we've got a little resistor that's smoked, and there's some other ones along there as well that have gotten hot from that incident in that area. So that was interesting. Also another spot somewhere right beside that brown capacitor, it looks like there's a diode, and it's got some green corrosion on it. Now, these circuit boards, the thing about these is they're difficult to repair because they're a multi-layered board. So you've got your main board that all the hardware gets mounted to. Well, there's 2 layers. So a circuit will come down, and then it goes across through the center of the board and drops down to a component on the other side. So like I say, a bunch of layers in there. Makes things extremely difficult to repair, and we went to probably a dozen different repair facilities that say they're the best, and talked to a couple people that I know that say they're the best, and they want nothing to do with it. So it seems like they're difficult to fix or near impossible to fix. Also, couldn't find a repair schematic for this circuit board. Just like wiring diagrams for cars and trucks and heavy equipment and all that stuff, there is also schematics for circuit boards, but we couldn't find one for this, so that sucks. There's really no way to even wire around the board and make it work. We entertained the idea of just making our own sort of charging circuit where once the battery voltage got so low, it would then command the alternator to charge, and then once it got so high, it would stop charging, sort of thing. So we ended up just finding a used one. So there is a bunch of these modules. They're all the same, but they have different part numbers. So whether it's for a D6R dozer, Cat dozer, or a loader, or whatever other piece of equipment that Cat makes, they use this gauge cluster specifically in a lot of their equipment. But there's many different part numbers. So you can find them online. They're decently expensive. The cheapest one I could find was from China. There was a place that was selling them. They're as far as I know, remand, and they were about $400 US. And then some of the prices, it just went up from there. That was the cheapest one I could find. Then it was like some of them on eBay, $1,200 US, and so on and so forth. There's a place, I'm in Canada, and there's a place that's a couple hours away from us that charged us, it was about $1,900 Canadian. So expensive, but a necessary piece of equipment. So we got a used one, and then the adventure wasn't over yet. We had to get this thing programmed because the software is different. They make the hardware all the same based on all their applications, but the software is different because sensors in the engines are going to be different and all that stuff. The inputs need to be changed. So that was done through CAT. We had a specialist come and do programming on this thing, and it was a bit of an adventure to do that. We had to make up a harness, which was fairly basic. It was 5 or 6 wires that actually plugs into the back of this. So we had some Deutsch pins that we plugged in here, and there is a manual that just showed you like a rough wiring diagram on which pins you need to do, powers and grounds and your communication circuits. And then that went into the CAT interface module, which would then go to the laptop so that you can flash this thing. So we got this thing flashed with the appropriate software to run for that piece of equipment, and that got it up and running. And then there was another thing that he had to do in order to get the other two gauges to work properly. So there's a bunch to unpack there, but there was no information on this whatsoever when I was looking, and I'm just hoping that I can help you guys out if you're running into the same situation with this module. And there's the part number on it there, and it's 141-9780. And like I say, there's a bunch of different part numbers. I want to say there's like 40 different part numbers, but they're all the same. So if it looks like this, probably the same. Yeah, trying to think of what else to say. I think that's pretty much it. If you have any questions, throw them down in the comments below. Hopefully it can help you. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up. Subscribe for more content. We'll see you in the next one.